on who's gonna start talking. Okay. Hi everyone. This is a Soma Nami podcast, which is our new podcast, and we just wanted to give a brief introduction of who we are, what the Soma Nami podcast is, why there was need or why there's need for the Soma Nami podcast, and what you should expect from us moving forward.
So by us, we mean I am Wendy.
And I'm Muthoni.
And welcome to Soma Nami podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, starting this recordings, it's just always like, okay, so what am I? You need a script, but anyway.
But we're one take wonders, so we're gonna keep going.
Yes.
What is Soma Nami? And before we come to the podcast, who is Soma Nami? What does Soma Nami mean?
Yeah. And why does Soma Nami exist, and why does Soma Nami feel that there is need for, this podcast?
Yeah.
We are Soma Nami Books is an Afrocentric bookstore located in Nairobi, where we primarily focus on authors from Africa, the African diaspora, and women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very special place, if I do say so myself, because the kind of focus that we've taken is very brave. Should not be, but it is, because the nature of books in Nairobi, or even I venture across the continent, is that you'll find that the books that are sold, that are available, are predominantly Western and white.
Yeah.
So for us, we have taken a stand and said we are putting ourselves first. We're centering ourselves, our narratives, our ideas, our experiences, and
our aspirations.
All
and
of it.
Yes, we, I guess, want to encompass Africa in its wholesomeness.
Yeah.
And move away from the single story, move away from how Africa is portrayed in the world, portrayed by other people, portrayed by Western media.
And spoken for.
Yes, and spoken for. So we are here saying, excuse us, please take a seat, because I don't think we need anybody to speak for us. We are able to
do that for ourselves.
To do that for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And so the podcast exists for more or less the same reason.
Yeah.
It's been a transition. We've been doing this for quite a while, and we've moved from podcasting to vodcasting. We've been having our IG lives. We've been having our wind down sessions.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of information that comes out during our conversations, right?
Yeah.
Which in most cases are very informal, we're having banter.
Yeah.
But we do talk about very important things.
Yeah.
Things that a lot more people should be listening to.
And I think the thing that we always say, like when you and I sit down to talk, is like, we should be recording this conversation. Yeah. This conversation is a
we should
podcast.
have started recording 30 minutes ago, because that's
Yeah.
So
we're actually doing it now.
Yeah.
And I think this offers a much more longer term place for these thoughts and ideas to sit, as opposed to randomly on IG or on Zoom or at book clubs. All those spaces are very important.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they don't age very well. They just get hidden under a pile of feed.
Algorithms and
all of that.
Yeah.
So
we're hoping that we're doing this for posterity, because yes, we do have important conversations. Yeah. We feel like we need to involve a lot more people in the kinds of conversations we're having.
Yeah.
And because we're just awesome like that,
So this is a book podcast. It's also a life podcast.
Yes.
It's a culture podcast. It's a commentary podcast. It's an everything podcast.
Yes, it's us basically talking about our thoughts. We're talking about what's currently happening, what is our opinion, what is our take on things that are happening, not just in Kenya, but across Africa. Anything bookish, cultural, that intersection is
of life.
That is part of the stuff we're going to be talking about.
And speaking of Africa, this podcast has a very beautiful tagline.
Yes.
So it's Soma Nami podcast
in African splendor. Hallelujah.
Take a moment and breathe that in.
Yes, please absorb it. Sit on it. Think about it.
Yeah, but what does that mean for you? Like when you say in African splendor?
For me, like in African splendor feels like a burst of energy. You know,
it gives me like a peacock vibe. Like
yes, like and that is
the opening up of
that is
of
exactly that's an open. It's a burst of energy. It's that opening up, and it's viewing Africa in its totality, viewing Africans as agents of their being, viewing Africans as, you know, full human beings. And I think we need to really emphasize on the full human beings, like full spectrum.
Yes. So the good, the bad,
3D characters, my friends.
So we'll talk about all that and everything else in this podcast. So I think the first place to start is subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to. Leave a rating and share this.
And also tell us what you think. Join the conversation. Tell us what you think about the conversations we're having. We'd really appreciate that.
Okay.
All right, so journey on with us on the Soma Nami podcast.
And see you around.
Yes, in African splendor.